Dirt, man. We missed last week. You know, I had some stuff I had to do, but we back this week, and on Valentine's Day, no less. You know what's funny? I didn't even hit you up because I don't know if Dirt's gonna like have time to do anything on Valentine's Day. But you hit me up, was like, I got a little bit of time. Dirt always got time for the smoke.
Hey man, I've been married for 20 years. We ain't doing nothing on no damn Valentine's Day.
He's like that. Is that like after the first 5, like that kind of?
Yeah, man. Come on, man. I be spending money all damn year on my wife. I ain't about to Valentine's Day.
So what's going on, you guys? Welcome to the Addict Show. We talk about the past, present, future game. I got my co-host with me, Dirt Griggity. What's going on, Dirt?
My brother, we are going to see what happens tomorrow. We saw some stuff today. Let's talk about this, man. A lot of great stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we saw what Sarah Bond like kind of make some statements that said something similar to like every screen's an Xbox.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Did you see, well, first thing we'll talk about is we got to get the smoke out of the way, because obviously we're going to talk about the possibilities that Xbox goes with tomorrow. But let's talk about the possibilities that PlayStation also goes with tomorrow. Did you see all the financials came out for PlayStation? And
I saw it.
Apparently they didn't meet their what their internal expectations was for PS5s, which is interesting because all I heard was about how much they sold.
Yeah,
last year. That's all I heard about. All PlayStation sold so well, or they probably do. Do you think it was like realistic expectations, or do you think that they just didn't hit their internal metrics in general?
I think their expectations was probably a little too high. Because we all know the PlayStation brand sells incredibly well, but maybe their expectations was a little high. But at the same time, maybe Spider-Man 2 didn't do. I mean, it did sell 10 million, but don't forget it was bundled. Not saying all of it was bundled, obviously not, but maybe Spider-Man 2 didn't do what they'd expected it to do. So yeah, I think it was a little. I think it was a mixture of both. They had the expectations might have been too high, and then at the same time, just didn't do what they wanted to do.
Do you think that there's a pivot from this? Because there was a lot of conversation on whether or not they should do third party, or not necessarily third party, but day and date on PC, which people told me that's impossible. It's never going to happen.
Addict, I've heard they would never first I heard they would never put their games on PC because, PlayStation games sell unlike Xbox games. I remember hearing this years ago from the biggest ponies in the community. Then when they started to put their games on PC, then I heard they would never, and they use the word never, ever do day and date. That's why I said never use the word never.
Because the only person that you're going to look foolish is yourself.
100%.
It's crazy. I went to grab the timestamps from last week because it's easier to skip stuff. I didn't do timestamps last week.
Oh man.
Oh, the week before last.
The week before. Oh man.
That's not.
You, man.
At this point, it's like what do they call what do they call laws that if you break after a certain amount of time, they can't hold against you?
I forgot the term, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's past the time. If they were serious, they would have been knocking already. I'm not in cuffs, so I'm good. I'm good right now. All right, so what we're going to talk about today, man. It's like I said, it's going to be 2 topics. I told Dirt, I was like, it's going to be a quick thing, man. We obviously will talk about the smoke. And it's statute of limitations. There it is. Mm-hmm. I knew someone in that chat was going to tell us.
Statute of limitations. Thank you.
We're going to talk Xbox. What's funny, though, one of the timestamp was that week was Xbox in 2024. Geez, things change so fast. Xbox's future. And then we're going to be talking about Xbox going third party was also a timestamp that week. Man, the industry is so fast. In a matter of 2 weeks,
it's crazy, man.
We've come full circle. PlayStation on PC. So let's talk about PlayStation in general, actually, because there's actually a couple things that came out. Did you see that they're not going to have like any big titles till 2025?
Yeah, man, I saw it.
How'd you think about that?
Well, I saw it coming. I think PlayStation saw it coming. That's why they signed all of these third-party exclusives. I think they saw it coming. And Addict, we've like me and you personally, we've talked about it before that the games PlayStation has dropped this generation were games that were mostly PS4 games that were already in development. Of course, COVID delayed everything for like 6 to 7 months to a year. But they were able to drop God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, some other games, because those games were in development well before they came out. So now we've seen, because we saw it, now that those games have dropped, excuse me, games take 4 to 5 years to make now, or 5 to 6 years. It depends on the scale of the game. They don't have shit, bro. Oh, excuse my language. They don't have nothing, bro. They don't have nothing.
The problem is there was too much stuff that got hit from the pandemic early in development, because like PlayStation had too many games that was already out the gate almost. So when they were able to get those to the finish line, and those came out buggy. Returnal, even the last game, the Spider-Man 2 came out buggy, and people say, well, that's day one patch. It's not my fault. On top of that, you got stuff like Horizon Forbidden West came out, and it was really, really buggy. Like the writing's been on the wall for a long time, but people refuse to see it.
100%, bro. And Addict, like I said, that's why they signed those third-party exclusives, which is smart. They signed Stellar Blade, which was going to be a multi-plat, and they made it exclusive. They have, like they always had the Square Enix games, but they had those third-party games, but now we're seeing that. Well, see, Addict, I believe it's pretty obvious because these showcases they had, these state of plays, the only game they have a roadmap for is Wolverine. Factions got canceled last year, so all they had was Wolverine. So I'm sure they'll show whatever Sucker Punch is working on. Is that Ghost 2? I don't know, but they have games in development. But yeah, man, I'm not surprised by this, honestly.
And I think there's another big thing that people don't take into consideration as well, is I think people don't look at how much of a pivot Jim had them doing multiplayer type of games as well, games as a service. We don't know the severity of how much that pivot hurt them as well.
100%. Yep.
Because we heard from people like David Jappy that a lot of the studios wasn't okay with what was going on, and they were being essentially forced to make the games. Now, I don't know if like a small portion of the studio is being forced to work on it, or maybe it was over exaggerated, because those are just variables we don't know. But that is stuff that you have to look into going on here. It's like, look, like besides the pandemic, there might have been some self-sabotaging going on at this time as well, with having a lot of their prime studios that makes these quote unquote, bangers, that they're not currently working in full capacity on these games. And I think that's another part of the equation. I don't think it's entirely, but I think that is another part of the equation why you haven't seen these games come out yet, is because they not only were being hurt from how they were producing games, but they were also being hurt at how they were going to go about making games. The direction of the overall studio, because clearly you saw, they defunded studios. We saw big layoffs at Bungie. Now, obviously, there was layoffs everywhere, but to me, when I was seeing the PlayStation layoffs, I noticed a lot of the huge portion was coming from these games as a service form of style. Like, I didn't see too many people from like Naughty Dog getting laid off. Now, obviously, there were probably people that did get laid off, but it wasn't enough that made the rounds like something like a Bungie or that studio that they just completely defunded and canceled their game.
Yep, I agree. I agree with everything you said, because Jim Ryan, like you said, it seems like he did it very aggressively. So, we are doing live service games right now. We're going to ask our best studio, Naughty Dog, do a live service game. We're going to ask these other studios. We're going to buy some studios to do live service games like Haven. That's their Fair Games is going to be their first game, right? It's their first game. So
that
it
game
seems
must
like
that game must look really good for A, they didn't cancel it, and B, Bungie didn't say the what you do and look like
right. Right. So that's the state they're in right now. PlayStation still sells great. They're a hell of a brand. They're a super popular brand. But listen, man, we're going to talk about what's going on with Xbox. We are talking about what's going on with PlayStation. Let's be real, man. The gaming industry is not the same old gaming industry that we grew up on. Things are changing. I even saw what like Jeff Grubb said. I'm paraphrasing here, but he said everybody's talking about the Xbox rumors, but PlayStation has issues also. Like he said something similar to that. I'm paraphrasing, but I mean, there's a lot of stuff we got to talk about, man.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that we really got to look into is, I think it's deeper than that. I think Microsoft pivoted towards Game Pass for a variety of reasons, and one of those reasons was AAA production isn't sustainable in the long-term future.
Yeah.
And I think we're starting to see PlayStation, where they didn't pivot as hard, this is their answer. They're like, okay, let's release our stuff on more platforms, including PC.
Mm-hmm.
Who says, and I know what people are going to say in the comment section, but Addict, that will never happen. How do you know if they would ever release stuff on Xbox? Because if you were to go back years ago and tell me that Xbox was releasing games on PC, I would have said, besides those first bet, it's probably not going to happen. Then you skip. Now they're potentially releasing games on multiple platforms. We'll get to that here in a minute. And PlayStation, not only, it's like they're going on a faster track than Xbox did in terms of what they're doing. So, if they can't self-correct the industry in terms of, producing AAA products and just producing games in general, it takes longer, it takes more money. We don't know what they will do to keep that afloat.
Absolutely. Whatever they're going to do to save their business. Now, the homie Bone Slave just said something that he's absolutely right. He said, I never thought I'd see Sonic on Nintendo. Addict, I'm obviously older than you, bro. When I was in high school, the console war was Sega versus Nintendo. Sega Genesis versus Super Nintendo. If you would have told me 10 years later Sonic would be everywhere, I would have said, shut up, get out of my face. And that is goes to show you that things happen in the gaming industry that we have no control over. I remember when the rumors about Xbox started last week, I was pissed off, like, damn it, what's going on? But then after a while, you say, I have no control over this. I'm not going to stress myself out over this. It is what it is. I do want to know the details about what's going to happen. And now here we are a few days later, we're hearing rumblings about PlayStation. I'm not saying PlayStation is going to put their games on Xbox, but like you said, they already have 2 games on Xbox. Hell, I mean, the show and in the future Marathon is coming to Xbox. Not saying they're going to do that. I'm not saying that, folks.
And not to mention, I used to give them a huge like, okay, Helldivers 2, it's just a game they helped make. But if you look at it, they didn't just help make that game. When you load, because I have it on the PlayStation 5, when you load that game, it literally comes up like every first party studio game happens
well, they did
on
publish
PlayStation.
It too, right? So they funded that game and published it?
I think they did more than we think. They published it. I think that, they have a lot of stake in that game. And the fact that they have that much pull and they say, yo, we going to have this on our stuff only for a little bit, then we'll launch it on PC. They're like, no, let's just put that everywhere right now. Right. To me, I feel like if they did enough where they were able to put themselves as a publisher and as a, really connected to the PlayStation brand, they could have easily used that type of momentum to say, no, this is a PlayStation exclusive game, but they didn't. Right. And maybe there was fights between them and the studio that made, I don't know the studio that made Helldivers, but clearly PlayStation could have walked away at any time and said, then we're not doing it.
Right.
So to me, that screams, this isn't just a one and done thing. It might be a case by case thing, but now to see how successful this game has been out the gate, I'm interested to see if, maybe PlayStation does consider putting more games day and date on PlayStation, on PC. MLB The Show. Maybe the next MLB will be on PC the same day.
Probably, yeah.
Because this one's too late in the process. The game's done.
Definitely.
But the next one we don't know. Because when people sit there and they say it's like Elden Ring, love their games, and people say, oh, what I love about Elden Ring is what I love about From Software is they never take the easy route. When you play their games, they never give you difficulty settings. And I was like, yeah, but what I will say, people's like, well, I hope they go back to the older style. I hope they don't go back to Elden Ring type of style, open world. The thing is, you never know what a studio truly wants to do until they get that first real success and how they act after it. Yeah. I would not be surprised if the next game from Software, built from the ground up, because there's a difference between this and the mech game they just made, Armor Core. That game was in development alongside Elden Ring.
Okay.
I'm curious what they do next. Do they go back to maybe a different thing? And people's like, well, they don't make sequels like that. Yeah. But they've never had Elden Ring money either.
Right. That's the hit, bro. So
that changes things. When you get the kind of money that they got to where they could actually sustain themselves and not worried about closings or nothing, that changes things.
100%, man. I agree with you 100%.
Now that Helldivers has seen a massive success on PC and PlayStation, I'm curious if they were looking at this like, yo, Helldivers does this. What a God of War. What would that do? What would a Last of Us Part 3? What would that do? So, I'm not saying they're doing it, but I'm saying the people in the chat that think it's not possible, you're delusional. Yep, because everything is possible when it comes to the bottom line. If their bottom line is starting to go high and higher and they need to balance that shit out, they will do it in a heartbeat.
See, look, the thing is the PC platform, I think all of the companies realize now, maybe Nintendo still isn't there because they're just different from Xbox and PlayStation. Like their games doesn't have the same budget.
They're experimenting with mobile though, remember?
Right. They are. So I think PC and mobile at this point are platforms you can't ignore. PlayStation realizes that. Xbox realized that years ago. They realize those are platforms you can't ignore anymore. It especially in 2024 when everybody has a phone in their hands, where the PC market is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. In the 80s, it wasn't too many people playing games on PC, stuff like those little crappy ass games back then. But now it's a huge platform, and PlayStation can't ignore it, bro. They just can't. And I think it would be smart for them to put their games on PC day and date. I think they're already going to do it. I just think the only problem is having studios that can put games on PC day and day. I know they have Nixes to port games, but I mean, just like that's something about Xbox. Every studio they acquire, they usually port their own games to PC.
Yeah, and things change. When they bought Nixis, it could have had that old mentality. We're not trying to do day and date. Nixis can have plenty of time because they're going to go from one game to another, like a year and a half, 2 years after the game came out. But now they're like, okay, now let's hire more people at every studio because we need these games day and date, and Nixis can help on the back end to give it an established on this is the route we need you to go to do this. Right. It's just like, look, it's not necessarily me telling anyone in the chat that this is happening. It's just food for thought. It's like this could definitely be a thing. So let me read these super chats real quick. We got a $5 super chat from the Angry Therapist MD. PS and Xbox going to have an agreement and share games. That'd be interesting. Once they came out tomorrow and said everyone has made an arrangement that every game's coming to everything.
That would be crazy, bro. Console war over.
We got a two super chat. Hashtag Sony media buy. See how quiet they was when the Sony was dropped.
Yeah, it's the homie rocket scientists. That's what I know. You got numbers.
They really have. I haven't really seen. Yeah, I haven't really seen too much articles about what was leaked. Oh, not leaked, but the the financial stuff. I haven't been on Twitter a whole lot today either, so that might be.
No, you're right. You're right. When Xbox leaked it, I mean, when the stuff came out by Xbox, everybody went crazy, and this stuff come out about PlayStation. The ponies ain't saying much. I mean, it's a couple guys complaining, but they ain't saying much.
Then we got the $20 super chat from Face. How does he like his name? New York or something?
BKY.
Yeah. Space BKY. I appreciate it, man. Sony following Xbox. There's no talk of games going to Xbox. There's no day and date in a retail subscription. There's no day and date single player games for PC. So what? So when is day and date happening for the PlayStation time frame? I would say within the next 2 years they'll be in day and date.
Yeah, isn't it funny though when it's not like it didn't happen immediately for PlayStation. They still, so when does it happen? But when the Xbox, like there's just rumors, but they say, hey, Xbox is going third party. You know, come on, bro.
The thing is, you won't see day and date until more, because these games have to be made from the ground up. I would say the next games right now in development, they're going to start popping out like they're early in development, about to go into full production. That is when a lot of these conversations might be happening. I don't know if it's going to happen. Maybe PlayStation will stay in its ivory tower and never come down. But the thing is we've seen through their leaked documents that they know what they're doing is not sustainable. We saw a game like, Ratchet and Clank, phenomenal game. I loved it. It was a great game. It didn't make a lot of money, if any.
Mm-hmm.
We see that their AAA way they're doing things isn't the way that they want to do things in the near future. They do want to find a good middle ground. That's why the company pivoted so hardcore to games as a service, because they were worried about what is the future of their company if they have to consistently make the type of games that they're consistently making.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man 2, the game sold well, it's like 10 million now. But we saw the loyalties that they have to pay Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Is crazy. How much money did PlayStation realistically make off of those deals? They probably made a lot, but not as much as you think.
Mm-hmm.
$2 super chat from Gamer by Choice. I think storefronts replace consoles in the future. I think we've always kind of said that. We've always said that there's a good chance that these companies go to more of like an app and not necessarily a console. But here's the thing. I think that there's some variables in the world, not just the gaming industry, but the way our infrastructure on technology, on internet is. These things have to be solved before any of these companies jump out of the window and go all app, no console. I think that's got to be solved before anything, because going into this thing right now with Xbox we're about to get to, sometimes it's not necessarily where the industry is going, it's who decides to do it first and get roasted to oblivion first.
Right.
And I, with that particular one, jump into an app only with no console. If you mess that up and you don't deliver the experience that you're promising to your customers, your brand is done. It's a wrap, because you can't make consoles because you didn't make any consoles. You have to pretty much close doors at that point. So whoever jumps out that first better make sure that they got plans afterwards. Is there anything else you want to talk about on this PlayStation stuff?
One more quick thing, just like I said earlier, man, I just think PlayStation fanboys and Xbox fanboys need to realize, bro, that things are changing. Things are different. These, like the model, the AAA games model, it seems like it's not really sustainable.
It's changed.
Yep, it's changed, man. When these games take 5 years, 5-6 years, you got to pay them people all them years to work on these games, and it just has changed. And PlayStation, while they make great single player games, I think they're still going to make some of those games, but I do think they're going to be fewer, and I do think they're going to be a little shorter. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a God of War, the next God of War being 15 hours instead of 20, 25 hours, So it's just all about what we want. But at the same time, man, it's just like games like The Last of Us 2. Love that game. $220 million. I think we're going to see fewer games that scale.
I want to be clear. It's not that these games aren't sustainable in the current model they have. They're not sustainable in a corporate ladder. These games make plenty of money, but the problem is the pandemic was so inflated, and there's so much fluff on top of it because so many people couldn't leave, and they made so much money. Realistic people say, okay, this was temp money. This ain't real money.
Right.
We don't expect this every year. Just like the how we do content creation. When we're around the E3 area or like a lot of games are coming out, we expect higher traffic. Do we not? Do you expect higher traffic on like right after E3 or right after the new year? Do you expect higher traffic that you got during that at that time though? Because to me, after E3, traffic kind of dies down a little bit.
It does,
because people get it, they kind of like essentially OD'd themselves on gaming content, and then they have to build that tolerance back up. See, the problem is the gaming industry made all this money during the pandemic, and then when the pandemic started to cool down, they're like, no, fuck that. We still making that money. We gonna lay people off. We still making that money.
Yeah,
and I think that's a huge issue. I do, because it's like, that was what happened to the pandemic. Isn't the standard thing. It shouldn't be held to pretty much standard industry. Breaking news.
Man, that's Bob McPhee.
Okay.
Ignore him. He always be doing stuff like that.
Yeah, so to me, I think that's what it's been. These companies, they want that money they made during the pandemic, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to keep that money. Now, if you just took the money that you made, you could reinvest that, make another game, make another couple $100 million. But the problem is this quarter, they want to make 20% more money next pay period. And then once they get to next pay period, in the next quarter, they want to make 20% they made last quarter plus another 20%. And when you're constantly going up that ladder, nothing in this world, nothing is realistic and nothing is sustainable.
There you go.
Because there's only so much of the industry that you can milk dry. And I feel like a lot of these companies have milked the gaming industry as much as they possibly can. So they're looking for other ways to milk more of it.
Yep.
So with that, let's get to
get to it.
Okay, so I didn't get to talk to you last week. I watched a couple of your shows.
I did see you in the chat on WBG. I did see you.
I watch it just about weekly, just maybe not live sometime. What I didn't do shorts this week for IOP because there's just so much stuff going on. I didn't have a chance. But the floor is yours. I want you to give me your whole perspective on what you think's gonna happen, what you think's real, what you want to happen, what's realistic and you think's gonna happen, and just your perspective on both scenarios in general as well.
Okay. Now what I want to happen, I'll show you put it on the big screen for me. What I want to happen is nothing go to PlayStation, but realistically, what I think is going to happen is, definitely the obvious ones like Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, Pentiment now, and probably a few other games. What I don't want to happen is their flagship games like Halo, Gears, stuff like that. Their Xbox Game Studio titles. I don't want those games to go. If you think about, they bought 2 publishers. Okay, if you keep all of ABK Games multi-platform, okay, that's no surprise because we were really expecting that anyway. Now with Bethesda, Phil said they bought Bethesda for exclusives. If that changed, I would not like it, but that's definitely a possibility. Those games go multi-platform. I wouldn't like it, but it is what it is. Now, when we started to see Gears pop up, or Halo, Forza, that's where I have a problem with it. Now, if they come out there tomorrow and say a few games coming this year, like Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, in the future, we might drop more ABK games and more Bethesda games, then at the end of the day, if they bring up, the other games, Halo, Gears, and Forza, I will be very, very disappointed. Very disappointed. But what I'm expecting them to do, I'm expecting some changes to Game Pass. I'm not sure what. Maybe price increase. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Um, Octillionaire, Octodillionaire, bro, you've been talking crap the whole time, man. You need to chill out, fam. Now y'all want Halo and Gears? Yeah. Well, anyway,
Yeah, I thought they were trash.
yeah. Now y'all want Halo and Gears? So yeah, then I was like, okay, like I am expecting some changes with Game Pass. I could be wrong, of course. There's definitely going to be some games going to PlayStation. They're not going to have a show like this without some games going. I definitely believe the conversations happen because these are big companies. They always have conversations on how to make more money, what they need to do. But we'll see what happens. I'm thinking they will really talk about their games going everywhere. Mobile, PC, some PlayStation, some Nintendo. But I really don't think all games are going. I don't think it's going to be the whole slate. I really don't. I could be wrong, obviously, but I don't think it would be the whole slate. But it definitely would be some games going and some future games going.
So what I would particularly want is like I said for you, I don't want none of their stuff going.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it would eventually lead to a domino effect that leads to them backing out of the console market. I'm hoping that at the very least we get timed exclusives for a year or two before they come to the competing platform. To me, when people say, well, this is just the direction the industry is going, I ask who? Because I don't see anyone else doing this. And sure, that might be something that, they eventually do. But to me, who else is doing this? PlayStation's not. Nintendo's not. No other Steam in no way, shape, or form. They're not doing anything like this because they don't really make games. So I guess they can't really be in this conversation. To me, there's no one else really doing it. So why are we saying they're doing it? Because it's not like really a conversation. Now, if we had something to compare this to, that'd be a different conversation in general, but we don't. Just as much as I can't go out here and I can't tell you 100% if Xbox did go the worst case scenario we're going, is it going to be good or bad for you? The same thing if I flip it, I don't know it might work because it's never been done. But at the same time, I saw people were saying like Doc was on a podcast, and so it's there's been studies shown that people don't care about consoles like that. They go where stuff is, and buying exclusive for a game like Call of Duty wouldn't really move anything. And I agree with what Doc said. Doc's like, show me a game that's as big as Call of Duty that's ever been exclusive to anything. There hasn't.
There hasn't been. He's right. He's right.
And that's why, like, I look at this scenario. I'm like, look, Xbox, you might be on to something. Maybe give you a couple years of exclusive, maybe even 6 months, and then it comes out everywhere. Maybe you still sell consoles because it's still giving those people incentive to buy it. But at the same time, this is the same company that told me they were going to compete in Mixer. Mm-hmm. This is the same company that told me that going all digital with the Xbox One generation was the right direction, which they reversed. We can't act like because they feel like they're able to go forward like this means that they're able to actually, it means it makes sense. At the same time, I will give people the maybe this will work, but at the same time, we can't, I don't like the people that's acting like their opinion is facts, because it's not. Let's stop that. We don't know what the outcome of this is, if it's the good or the bad. What Xbox doing and what they're rumored to do, if it does turn out like the rumors suggest, which I don't think, I'm in the middle with you. I think it's going to be in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
No one's ever done it. No one. Someone said Halo, Mario, Zelda, God of War, Spider-Man. None of those games is as big as Call of Duty as a whole. None of them.
Nope.
Maybe they got more brand recognition to a degree, but Call of Duty, most years, obviously this year is a little bit different. Most years, Call of Duty comes out, outsells everything in a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
The entire year.
And it like usually drops later in the year.
Yeah. So in a month and a half, it outsells everything. Elder Scrolls isn't as big as Call of Duty. FIFA isn't as big as Call of Duty. Call of Duty is one of the most recognizable gaming franchises ever.
And to go back to what Doc said, there's no super successful game. Think about the top games. Minecraft, that's everywhere, right? Call of Duty, GTA, Tetris.
GTA is something that I will say is close to it, if not maybe on the same level. Maybe.
But it comes out every 10 years.
That's what I'm saying. Call of Duty hits you every year with a right hook. GTA comes out every 5 or 6 years. Now, maybe you can make an argument that GTA is bigger or on the same level as Call of Duty, but Call of Duty has more relevancy than GTA because it's more consistent.
Yeah. So, I mean,
that Pokemon,
nah.
I don't know. I think Pokemon is on that Call of Duty level, but it's not Call of Duty. There's a difference between, I would say a lot of people know who Pokemon is, but I don't know if Pokemon hits the same as like a Call of Duty. I don't know. I do think Pokemon is one of the few that you've been saying, that the chat's been saying, that I would say could be a good debate. But at the same time, like I said, Pokemon's been coming out every year for the most part for the past couple of years, and they don't really ever else. Fortnite is bigger than Call of Duty. Fortnite is bigger than Call of Duty, but it's a free-to-play game.
Mm-hmm.
Continue, Dart.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, what Xbox is potentially doing, there's decisions that has to be made that's going to ruffle some feathers. Now, you had a couple of examples. You said Mixer, you said the DRM stuff. Now, at the same time, a company of the scale of Microsoft, we also say, listen to the feedback from your consumers. Listen to the feedback. They listen to the feedback from the DRM stuff. Mixer, I think Mixer they invested a lot of money. It was getting nothing back from, Ninja and all them other guys. They really invested in those streamers and it didn't work out. But the DRM with the Xbox One, they got a lot of negative feedback and they changed course. We don't know if this.
My initial argument was they thought that was the correct path. Like, that's what I was saying is, even though Xbox thinks this is the correct way to go, we have examples where Microsoft as a whole thought all these other avenues was the correct way to go, and nothing happened.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, these people that runs these $1 trillion companies, they're human, so they definitely make mistakes. Don Master thought it was brilliant to make the Xbox One a TV box, with the damn TV guide. But, obviously he was wrong. So, like maybe the higher ups of Microsoft feel that putting all of their games on other platforms is the right way. And I'm sure people, like maybe feel and somebody said, no, that's not the right way. And, we'll see what's said tomorrow, but there will be some changes. And I know some of us Xbox would not be happy, but going back to what I said earlier, just pay attention to the gaming industry, man. Things are changing. So if Microsoft is making this move, we're not going to be happy. I don't want to see Xbox games on PlayStation and Nintendo. I remember when Xbox put their games on PC back in 2016, day and date. A lot of Xbox guys wasn't happy about it. I didn't give a damn because I don't care about the PC part, but the PC is a platform you cannot ignore. So I really don't think all Xbox games are going QB game. No, they're going to have a few, maybe a few in the future from these two publishers that they have acquired. And spending $70 billion on a publisher Addict, I don't think we really realize what happens when you spend that much money. A lot of these companies, hey man, 70 billion, yeah, there's gonna be some changes. You know, like us Xbox guys, like, yeah, take that, you ponies. Xbox owns Call of Duty. They own Activision Blizzard. And we didn't understand, we didn't realize the consequences of buying or spending $70 billion on a publisher.
Yeah, we didn't realize that, you know, something that I don't think they got hit too hard with Bethesda, because that probably wasn't enough to really like demand any like results. But when you spend $70 billion, you're borrowing Microsoft's money at this point.
Yeah.
And that is different. And so that's why, you know, I do feel, let me ask you this then. If you knew right now, Phil came to you and said, yo, here's a button. If you press the button, we go back to right before we announced we bought ABK and we walk away from the deal, and you keep your exclusives, but you don't get ABK. What would you push the button?
Hell yeah. Because with ABK, like the only thing that's really changing, because all of their games are going to remain multi-platform, is the money factor. You know, if they sell an ABK game on Xbox, they're going to get 100% now. If ABK game is sold on PlayStation or elsewhere, they get 70% now, as opposed to, you know, only 30%. So yeah, probably, man. I mean, you know, because I really don't want to see Xbox games go over there.
Yeah, so J-Dub stopped. I don't even know if that's the real J-Dub. J-Dub usually don't be in my chat saying crazy stuff.
That's him.
J-Dub, stop that.
J-Dub, you need to worry about PlayStation, man.
Yeah.
Y'all talking all this smack. Need to worry about PlayStation, bro. That's what y'all need to do. Worry about what PlayStation doing. Why y'all ain't got no games, J-Dub? And don't say we got 5 stars.
Hey, Dirt. They got games. They're going to PCs. Look, Jada has a feel to have like one of the only games that's coming out this year for you. Nah, I don't think that's J-Dub, because I think J-Dub's a mod on.
I clicked it and it went to his channel. I think that's him. Yeah, that's him, bro.
Oh my God, J-Dub, stop it! I'm gonna put you in timeout, my dude. Like you gotta stop that, man. You gotta stop that.
No, not even matter. Them Xbox. If the Xbox channel's out of here, what's gonna happen to y'all? You gonna do food reviews, J-Dub? What you gonna do? What you gonna do on Twitter? You gonna talk about politics? If Xbox dead, what you gonna talk about? What you and all your homies gonna talk about if Xbox dead? Y'all can't keep on talking about Xbox every day if Xbox dead, right?
Yeah, if that happened, all of his metric thing would be just gone overnight.
Right, done. Because that's all he do. All he do is talk about the Xbox and, you know, the console war stuff. It's okay. Hey, I already said if Xbox died, my channel done. But I'm okay. My life is fine. Now, you a guy to spend maybe 22 hours a day on Twitter. What you gonna do? What you gonna talk about? Sports, politics, food reviews. What?
Well, according to people on PC on Twitter, still, sports isn't an issue. You know, there's no toxic fanboys on sports. It's different because, you know, there's a winner. It's different because there's a winner. So that's the crazy thing, man.
Oh man, that's funny. But I'm curious what they gonna do though. What they gonna do? See, that's the thing. They think, like I saw some. Oh, Xbox channel's about to be dead. What y'all listen? If you're in a console war, both sides gonna be affected. If Xbox died, or even in the future, if PlayStation died, both sides would be affected. Now tell me I'm lying. When your content is 100% about Xbox and Xbox fanboys, what you gonna really talk about? You talk about games all of a sudden, because you don't really do that.
Yeah, so I mean, here's what comes down to it, man. I really don't want them to go third party. I really don't. Because
I gotta say something right quick.
Yeah,
Addy, because I see something in the chat.
Yeah.
Yobi, you know what? The reason I'm saying that because the passion. If I don't have passion to do, I don't stream games. Addict does that. Check out his channel. I don't have the passion for that. So if you're doing something and you don't have the passion for it, it's probably not going to do well. Right? So that's all I'm saying, man. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
My biggest thing is I do truly believe that if they go full third party, like, and especially if there's no timed exclusives, I was heard in like little as time as 3 months. Like, I do feel like the
I don't know. Something happened with your sound, bro. Hold on. Hey, say something real quick.
hello,
Okay, you
hello.
good now. Okay, you
Yeah,
good now.
I believe that the console portion would be gone. Like, and it wouldn't happen overnight. But here's the thing: so many people's already invested already. Next gen, I don't know if you even get my money.
Right.
So if you're not getting my money, how bad is it going to get? And I don't know that. And people say, well, you know, Addict, this is the way they have to go. And I'm like, and I get that. I'm just worried about. I don't want to ever leave what a company does with my digital library to chance. And I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point, man. See, but you know what, Addy, if we go back to what like what these ponies want, if these guys really want Xbox to die, do you know how that would ruin gaming? You know how many studios they own? Like, y'all really want them to die? They own ABK, they own Bethesda. Y'all want
You know
them to
what's that?
die?
If they left the gaming industry, I'm willing to bet you a lot of these studios just get shut down. No one's
Shut
buying
down,
them.
bro. Y'all want the
Like, a
richest
lot of
company in the world to
Bethesda's
leave?
gone. There will be people to buy some of the Bethesda stuff, but Arcane's gone. Ghostwire Tokyo, the people make that, they're probably gone. Like, the talent would be ripped from all these studios. I don't see a lot of obviously they're going to shut down. If they ever went out, what do you think happens to Halo? You think they sell that, or you think they just let Halo go down with the ship?
I don't know.
Would you prefer them to let it go down with the ship, or would you not imagine, or would you not want to see that on another thing? Imagine if, like, Apple pulled up and they bought it and that's an exclusive on their stuff now.
I don't know, man. That's a good question. I don't know if I say, yeah, I would want somebody else to pick them up. Like, you ever seen a TV show get canceled and then somebody else pick them up and the show just be trash? Like, nah, man, they should have left that show dead. So I don't know, man. So somebody asked me a question. Mash asked me, what do you say? Dirk, if they go full publisher next console gen, what happens to the Xbox console game? If they're not, they're making another console. So that question is null and void because they're making another console. So
I think there's a good chance they show their console too.
Tomorrow?
Show something on their console tomorrow.
Oh, they talk about it?
Yeah, maybe not show you anything like cinematics, but I think there's a good chance they show you something related. Because what's the best way to ensure an audience that you're still making a consonsole? Is to show the console.
Yeah, to show it, or I think,
or at least talk about it.
I think talk about it will help. Well, like, we know they're doing another console, man. It's just, things are happening right now. But I still think it's funny how arrogant these PlayStation guys are, though. Even after today, y'all still arrogant. Y'all always talk about console sales, and I mean, it's outselling Xbox, of course, but even PlayStation had to lower their numbers or lower their projections or expectations or whatever you call it. And y'all still this arrogant? Y'all ain't got no games and y'all still this arrogant? Out there,
that is kind of crazy. The only game they had, the only game that comes out for them goes to PlayStation, and they real acting a fool, aren't they? So it's like, look, like, at the end of the day, we got to take that. Yes. But guess what? even if they go third party tomorrow, and I don't think it's going to be that. I think what we fear, it's not going to be close to that. Now, it's like if I come out, because I'll probably do a show on the Addict Arena tomorrow afterwards. I hope to God I don't say tomorrow I had expectations that I felt realistic and they didn't do any of that. I hope to God I don't come on my show tomorrow and say, damn, they did something worse than I even thought they were going to do.
Yeah. So,
but I don't think it's going to be as bad. But let this not happen. And we now, because the reason today didn't get hit too hard for PlayStation is because we know tomorrow we're doing the show.
Yeah, I need to read the stupid chats, bro.
Oh, is it about you?
Yeah.
All right, read the ones. Are you the last two?
Yeah, no, I read all four of them for you. If you want me to.
Okay.
Yeah, I read them for you. Rocket scientists with the two Canadian. We're gonna end the human race. Hashtag cap the capitalism. All right. X360 with the two. Tell Dirt to show that milk dud on his hat. See my hair, man? There you go. There go the milk dud, fam. There you go. POS. All right. Legendary villain with the 5. I do not want Xbox to die. I just find it funny for trash talking what they are doing. But seriously, Xbox dying would mean a disaster for gaming. I actually agree with him, and I rarely agree with him. He got another 5 pounds. He says, see now, Dirt, you guys went the entire 2022 without games and were still arrogant. I could have swore we was pissed off at Xbox for not having no games.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, but you went years without games and shitting on PlayStation. Came on that same energy. Listen, brother. I have my Xbox homies getting mad at me because I talk about how lackluster the Xbox One generation was. Anybody in my chat that comes on my show on a consistent basis, how often do some Xbox homies in the chat get mad at me because I talk about how lackluster the Xbox One generation was? Yes, I do talk trash about PlayStation fanboys because y'all say stupid stuff all the time. That's why I continue to talk about PlayStation fanboys. And how often do I say how I like some of PlayStation exclusives? But we talked about 2022. Like, damn, Xbox ain't had no damn games in 2022 for real. Damn, for real, they ain't had no games. And even Phil Spencer said that was unacceptable. Even Phil Spencer said it.
The funny thing is, they just take some of our statements and they don't act like the rest happened. Like you go on here, you know what's funny is me and Dirt argue about it all the time, but you got selective hearing. You don't hear the negatives, you just hear the positives. You don't hear the positives, you just hear the negatives. Like, we're consistently criticizing Xbox at every corner. To a point where I myself get called an undercover pony because I criticize them, quote unquote, too much. Xbox getting Sega tomorrow.
They do be calling you a pony bot, Addict. They like, Addict a pony. But look, man, y'all know I am an Xbox guy to the core, but Xbox is not perfect. Neither is PlayStation, neither is Nintendo, man. See, I guess maybe when I criticize Xbox, I don't do it for like 3-4 straight podcasts, like some other Xbox guys do in the community. It's all good. Now, a legendary villain with the 2 pounds, fair enough. I'll take that last statement back. Okay, if you're that type of guy, maybe you ain't that bad of a pony, man. Because most ponies won't admit that they're wrong about anything.
See, at least he came out there and he stood on his thing and he said, "Look, I was wrong. I don't watch your content enough to know if you do it or not do it." So
I respect that, legendary villain. I really do, because most ponies won't admit that they were wrong or they take something back. I respect that, real talk.
You know what's funny? Everything going on now, if this does get reversed to a huge degree tomorrow from what we heard initially on the rumors,
right?
I never want to hear one PlayStation person say the Xbox community does not put Xbox to the fire.
Right, bro.
Because we're doing it so much, people saying it's toxic. We're doing it so much, people people are saying that we're unhinged.
Hey, Addict, let me tell you something, bro. I was so pissed off. I didn't even say anything on Twitter. I was that mad because I I didn't want my homie Ray Ray say, "Dirt, you mustard hearted." I was so pissed. I was like, man, this can't be. I'm telling you, man. I was telling my wife, baby, if this is true, my console war channel is in trouble because I go back and forth talking about PlayStation fanboys. My console war channel is in trouble because it is console war. I was like, it's in trouble. But
I think you would be fine for like at least a year and a half to 2. Like I do think they the moment they make that announcement, your channel got a fuse on it. But I do think eventually that fuse would hit because here's the thing. You can still talk shit about PlayStation.
I can, but the passion wouldn't be there though, Addict. If they went full, like say full third party, I can still figure out some ways to talk trash, but the passion wouldn't be there. Like imagine me saying, you ponies ain't got no games in 2025.
We ain't got no games either.
And then they come back like, yeah, we got Halo and Gears coming. No, like, oh shit, like what I'm gonna say, you know what I'm saying?
It's like you sitting there talking smack and like you talk smack in this bunker, but the back walls out. You're right, like you ain't never gonna find me. You can't get in here.
And they walk right in behind you. You do it, yeah. So no, but I think it's gonna be fun, man. Like I said several times already, this show, they will have some games going to PlayStation, no doubt about it. But I just cannot fathom them giving PlayStation the whole slate, bro. Like, come on.
Someone said, don't say like Iron Lords ain't gonna take a hit too. Yeah, we're gonna take a hit. Like, here's the thing: anyone that primarily covered Xbox would take a huge hit. Now, 100%. I will say IOP will be able to pivot more than most.
Mm-hmm. Y'all will be able to pivot more than most because y'all don't console as much.
And I'm just curious how King is gonna pivot.
Yeah, King be talking trash, right?
See, here's the thing: King gonna take a huge hit. But here's the thing: King always got a bulletproof vest on. So
right.
King just Adam, rip off the vest like nothing happened.
Hey, Adam, you know what was so crazy about my channel though? When those rumors came out last week, I lost like 25 subs, bro. Immediately. I checked my YouTube studio. I was like, damn, what the? I think some of the Xbox homies was so pissed off they couldn't. Like, I don't want to follow no Xbox channels, no pro Xbox. I lost 25 subs. I got them back.
I don't. We could talk about that in a second. Let me actually put that as the third topic: content creation on Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Chris Hart, don't start talking about some Sea of Thieves running 4K 120 on the PS5 Pro. Hey, enjoy it, Chris, because you like games like that. You like Foam Stars, you like Destruction All Stars. Enjoy Sea of Thieves, Chris.
Right, it wasn't my cup of tea. 59 minutes. If you're a content creator on Xbox, let's get these super chats real quick.
Yeah, it's good, bro.
$5 super chat from
Panic
is Boss. Are you okay with the Xbox going third party if we get the Steam store on the next Xbox? That's interesting. I'm still not okay with it.
No, I'm not okay.
But I do like the Steam part. We got a $2 super chat from Trey Bone 408. Media will say PS is going third party to save the industry. Okay. I do think there's
Alex in here. What's up, brother?
What's up, Alex? I do think there is a conversation to how is the Xbox influencers if this does come out and it's worst case scenario, everything's multi-plat. Do you think there's room to even make Xbox content on that point, or give me your bars on what do you think would have to be done? Would you be done with YouTube, or would you move to more of a non-console war thing, or would you pull a King and say I'm going down with the ship?
I'm doing full reviews, adding on. If they went full third party, the whole slate, right? If you consider my content what I do, I bash PlayStation fanboys, and that's 95% of my content at the moment, right? It would definitely hurt my channel, but as an Xbox fan, it would bro, I think I could pivot to talking about games and this and that and this and that, but the passion would be gone for me personally, man, because it's like Xbox. Damn, you put all of your games on PlayStation, all of your games, Halo, Gears, Forza on PlayStation. The passion would be gone. I would kind of be like, damn. I consider myself, I'm obviously not as, I don't edit as well as guys like Alex and Fatanga, those guys, but I have fun in what I'm doing, because I really dislike PlayStation fanboys. So I enjoy talking shit about them because I really dislike them.
I think you'll be fine because that passion might be there. But I think the passion you have towards not liking PlayStation fanboy, because let's be real here, tomorrow was truly the doom day. Like it the worst case scenario. PlayStation fans would never get checked by anything. And I feel like at that point, your content's going to get bigger because you're going to stop having like a multi-attack approach. They say we just going after the PlayStation fanboys. No Xbox talk. We just going after them.
Let's fully go after the PlayStation guy. Well, you know what? But see, the thing is this. I understand how things work. I understand what's really going on, right? I saw somebody say, well, let's talk about games. I love video games. I would never stop being a gamer because I'm a gamer before I'm an Xbox gamer, right? I'm a gamer first. And I actually like some of other PlayStation games. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, Alice. It's about the fanboys acting crazy. It is. But see, you're a PC guy. You're not a console guy. I'm an open Xbox fanboy myself, right?
See,
that's so when I be talking crap about the PlayStation guys, it's kind of like, if I don't have any leverage, what can I say? Like the ABK deal, that when I went through, whoa, yeah, I had receipts.
Hey, you can always be a Nintendo fanboy and attacking PlayStation fans.
I know.
If you think about it,
I would be
no. Hold up, Dirt. They got the games. They sell the games. They sell the consoles. If you dug yourself in that hole, that'd be a pretty unstoppable hole. I'm gonna be real with you,
bro. No, listen. I respect
Lloyd Metro
Nintendo.
Would love you.
I respect Nintendo for what they have done for
the sound like
gaming industry. I'm not. I have no listen, bro. I have a PlayStation 5 because I like some of PlayStation exclusives. I do not have a Nintendo because I have no interest in none of their exclusives. All right, so so Nintendo is not for me. I would do a WWE channel before I do Nintendo, bro, because I'm a WWE fan. I would do that.
I'm just going to see. Here's the thing. I might talk about the hardware from time to time, and I might talk about like Redrix that they make moves on the hardware. But a lot of the content I make is about the games. So I would just Gaming Addict would literally just keep going the way it is. I would have to make some pivots because obviously some of the practices won't be alike anymore. But I would pivot. Now I'm curious if the viewership would change.
Yeah,
like if the Redrick on the viewership, if they don't care, like, because I don't really do console war to a huge degree.
Yeah,
sometimes I make a console war video because people are pissing me off.
You might throw
but for the most part, I'm curious that those viewers that watch my channel would stop watching because Xbox no longer is a platform. Now, I am curious on that. I think I'd probably lose a sizable amount of viewership, but it wouldn't stop me from continuously pointing out that kind of content. And Addict Arena would just exactly how Addict Arena is doing now. It's still a relatively new channel. I just hit 500 subs. Okay. I'm about to hit 6. So, relatively new channel. I do have more plans for that channel because I already have kind of like pivoted how I feel like I would pivot from the Gaming Addict. Gaming Addict wouldn't change too much. I do think I would add more third-party stuff going on, like the Helldiver situation. That's not necessarily third-party. I would talk about games that I would talk about a little bit more games, like for instance, microtransactions. There's certain things that happen in the industry that I feel like not enough people talk about. I would probably bring that stuff up more. But as far I would talk about the Xbox ecosystem and the games itself. I don't think I would pivot like drastically.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. Of course, we really don't know what will happen. Hopefully, it doesn't have to happen. Give them a few little games. I don't want them to do that, but obviously, they're going to give them something. Just not the whole slate.
And I'm curious on on a standpoint of how many people watch YouTube weekly from a fanboy like mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's a lot and we think it's a lot, but is it really a lot? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, last video I got 5,000 views. How many of that 5,000 views watch me because they have an idea that I'm a fan, like an Xbox, like attacker or whatever you want to call me. Like, I'm curious. I don't know. You know, how many people generally watch me to watch my opinion? Because that's how I've always wanted to approach my brand. I want you to want to be updated on stuff going on, but I want you to want my opinion as well.
Well, you said to me a long time ago, you really feel that console war stuff has a ceiling, which it does. It does have a ceiling, but then
the ceiling's about to get a lot shorter.
But then there are some guys that does, but they're more comical, like the Mighty Keith. He has a pretty big channel. He does, but his is more comical. He acts like he tries to act like he's not a console war guy, but he really is. His channel is pretty big. I do believe if you are creative enough, you can still do fine. But I know my subscribers, I know my fan base, they're bots for the most part.
You know how I know? You know who I know is going to be perfectly fine? Is Alex, because he only like the PlayStation people be wilding out more than Xbox people, so he ain't really losing no content. Like,
facts.
Alex probably rubbing his hands tomorrow. He's like, "Oh, yeah. I bet you people gonna act a fool tomorrow." Like,
yeah, man. Yeah, but it was funny how today though it was quiet. They didn't go crazy. Xbox guys went crazy, which we should have, because the name was up, man. It went from Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, then I started to hear Gears of War, Hellblade 2, Forza. I'm like, what?
Here's the question, Alex, and I want your opinion on it. If I had more time, I would bring you in, but I got to take my girl out to dinner, or she's like gonna get upset.
You take your girl to dinner, man.
Yeah. So, Alex, do you think PlayStation people calm down if Xbox people put down arms because the Xbox is no longer relevant? Let's say the worst case scenario happens. Because I'm curious how the PlayStation people handle Xbox people just go silent, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm kind of curious.
Talk for about 6 months straight. Then they'll eventually calm down, bro. Well, can you imagine J-Dub? He would still be talking shit for 6 months straight. Then he'll probably calm down after the Xbox guys don't respond. He said he's gonna get even more insane. Yeah, man.
Yeah, they're gonna. I'm curious, man. See, it's like I said, I'm still gonna make content because I generally like making content. I like talking about the stuff that I enjoy talking about. And here's the thing: I do think that you have got enough fan base where, as long as you just put your spin on it, they'll still come to you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. He said then they moved to service wars. You're right about that. It's going to pivot to something else. Then they'll go to Metacritic. Well, this Xbox first party game, the Metacritic still wasn't as good as the PlayStation first party game.
I wonder if the PlayStation people would still come after us if there was no console. It was just third party. I feel like because it's been so long, it's at this point, it's all they know. They're still going to do it.
Yeah, there they are.
And imagine if they started imagine if Xbox games was on PlayStation day and date and they were having higher Metacritic games than them.
Wow.
What's up, Kid Smooth?
Kid Smooth. What's up, Kid Smooth?
Yeah, Kid Smooth actually scored us a big guest for Planet Xbox this week.
Nice.
Okay, Kid Smooth, I won't say it because it's not my job to say that. I'm not going to take that announcement from you, but you can put it in the comment section if you want the chat to know who we're going to have on. He's never been on IOP.
Wow,
not one time. And I think I'm going to try to change that when this week.
Is it a YouTuber or is somebody in the game industry?
You know who he is.
Oh, I do. Okay.
Yeah, you know who he is. I'm just curious if Smooth. Yeah, Smooth told us.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, RGT.
Cool.
It's interesting because that will be after.
You say MBG. Somebody say MBG.
Yeah, that will be RGT. That will be after the announcement. Smooth, are you trying to do that show tomorrow? Because I need to know. I need to know if you're trying to do that show tomorrow after the announcement. So keep me updated. But anyway, Dirt Man.
Hey, you got a couple super chats, brother.
Yeah. Let's get to those.
We
got a $5 super chat.
I'll read them because they're talking about me. I'll read them. John Wolf with the 5. Don't worry, Dirt. Your channel goes away. You can go back to WWE. Titus O'Neil. Laugh my ass off. TTS, brother. Titus O'Neil. I don't know why my chat, even the homie John Wolf, for some reason, they like to say I'm every black guy that was in WWE. Like they call me Viscera. They call me Bobby Lashley. I know you don't watch. Like
I know who Bobby Lashley is.
Oh, you do? Yeah, they just call me every black guy that's in WWE. Pieces of trash. The homie Ray with the 2. Dirt, I still rock with you like Scram Punks. Come on, man. Scram Punks was terrible.
You know what's actually crazy?
What's that?
I actually feel like you could take the same mentality and you would make a fortune on wrestling. Because at that point, you're not attacking just PlayStation fanboy. You could attack everybody across the board. You can play a game of battleships. Like every week, you're talking shit about someone new.
That's fun stuff. Lord Metroid with the 2. Hi-Fi Russ. Welcome to Nintendo. Popping bottles. That's a great game, man. It's a great game.
I think at that point, between the Sea of Thieves tweet and the Hi-Fi Rush artwork being leaked, it's a wrap. Those 2 games are definitely, and I'm okay with Sea of Thieves. And I know people are going to disagree with that. And I will say I'm hearing Killer Instinct too.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And I'm okay with these type of games because like K-Meg, a huge Killer Instinct fan, and if that game going multi-plat is what it takes to keep that brand around, I'm okay with that.
I heard Killer Instinct because Sony owns Evo.
That would make sense.
Yeah, that's what I heard because Sony owns Evo and they wanted to make sure it's on their platform. So even if they're working on the Killer Instinct 2, it probably will go to PlayStation also.
Yeah, so like I'm okay with that. And Sea of Thieves is a fun game, and I want the games as a service. I'm okay with those more because I feel like those games will do better if they're everywhere. But there's the weird, okay, Halo Infinite is considered a games as a service. I'm not okay with that.
No, Halo is the flagship, bro. Oh man, no. I'm sorry. Halo is the exception. I'm sorry. It's just Joy. I know you're not okay with the Joy. Oh my God, bro. That's your answer to everything. I'm not okay with. We know you're not okay with the Joy. Thank you, bro. Halo is the exception, man. You can't put that Xbox would not be around if it wasn't for Halo. The first Xbox probably would have failed if it wasn't for Halo, bro.
I think Halo would go multi-plat right before the console is. Here's what I would like for them to do, and I know they probably won't do it. And I know me and like Alex in the chat have different meanings of what I think. Like I do think the reason Steam works so well is because it's free, it's downloadable, and you can just download it and play. You know, Steam works good because it's accessible to anyone with a PC. If you got and spend $500, you got to make that $500 worth your while. And that's why I feel like exclusives are important to a console ecosystem, not necessarily a PC launcher ecosystem. And that's my point on that. And I would actually be okay. And maybe you can give me your opinion on this before we close out. Once that they said, okay, certain Bethesda games and all of Xbox Studios will stay exclusive to Xbox. Bigger Bethesda games and maybe like Elder Scrolls, that would be like a dip. Maybe that would be timed exclusives. And all ABK games would be multi-plat. Would you be okay with that scenario?
If that's the only choice, yeah. No, because I mean, I wouldn't, like we've said several times already, I would prefer none of them go. But if that's what had to happen, I would, as long as, I believe all the Xbox game studio titles, I know there's some exceptions like Sea of Thieves and Killing Instinct. I believe those games should stay exclusive. All the ABK games, if they stay multi-platform, that's not a big surprise. That's hell. Like we already know most of them is going to stay multi-platform anyway. But I've heard that a few games coming in the future could be multi-platform. So that's kind of what I'm, like Alex said, that's kind of what I'm expecting, something like that. I don't know if they're going to reveal that tomorrow, but I just feel that Xbox Game Studios should stay exclusive, maybe with the exception of Sea of Thieves and Killing Instinct.
I feel you. So we're gonna go ahead and close this out of here, guys. First off, Dirt, what appreciate you coming on, man. What do you got going on? First off, are you streaming this event tomorrow?
No, I'm not streaming it. I'm gonna be at work looking at it. I might drop a couple tears if it's bad. I might drop a smile if
that's one of the things that would be very beneficial for you to stream. But if you lose your shit, everyone understands.
I am doing my One Man Dog Man podcast at 6:00 tomorrow. So stop by my channel. We're gonna have fun tomorrow. Hopefully, it's not as bad as it sounded. It sounded at like the earlier this week. I hope it's not as bad as that. But we do know some games are going to other platforms. So Xbox guys, because I still saw some of the Xbox homies said, "Dirt, I don't want to hear that. No game is going." I said, "Listen, brother, listen. Something is happening."
They wouldn't do a business change like this.
Yeah, they wouldn't be doing a business event if nothing was changing. But we're going to talk about it tomorrow on my show at 6 p.m. One Man Dark Man. So let me put my channel in the chat for those that is not subscribed already. But thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, and definitely hit the like button on you guys' way out. If you guys want, if you like streaming, I do occasional like podcast related formats, like conversations like this. Not a lot. I think I am going to change how that works. And maybe before I stream, I do like a little mini podcast every day. There's the Addict Show, the Addict Arena channel. Definitely go over there and sub to that if you guys want more streaming stuff. I think I'm going to stream more Skull and Bones. I actually really was enjoying.
I heard the game was good, man. I heard it's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, so I'm gonna try that out. I appreciate everyone coming through. Who we sending them to today? Let's see who's all online.
Did Fame change his day?
Fame is not on today.
Yeah, I think he changed his day.
Pick one, babe. What about this one?
Okay, go to that one.
Okay. All right, we're gonna send you guys over there to Asa. You guys go over there, show them some love. Tell them Addict Show raid. I want to see that Addict Show raid in there. But I appreciate you coming through. So next time, this is Gaming Addict and Dirt Grading. We'll see you hopefully next.
Peace out, y'all. Hey, if it's crazy, I'm the addict. I can't make it, bro.
Question.